On Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. The mother of a murdered cheerleader continues to speak out ahead of a plea deal for the man accused of murdering her daughter. And another threat on a local campus, the stance the sheriff's office continues to take. That's just ahead. Plus the reactions as one late night host returns to the air.
And for your Weather Wednesday, we still have a cool front in the forecast getting here tonight, and that'll bring with it the chance for heavy flooding rainfall and possibly severe weather. We'll talk about all that in the weather coming up.
And then the Cowboys battle the Orange Grove Bulldogs in a Week 5 district matchup. We'll give you the full pregame preview later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and welcome to your Wednesday morning. And we are in for a wet one later today.
That's right. We are in for both a treat and maybe a bit of a scary one later this evening because we got some thunderstorms heading our way. But right after that's all said and done, we got a cool front, and it's going to be making us feel like fall for the first time in a while. Because before any of that fun stuff gets here, though, we got to deal with the kind of scary stuff first. And that's why we have an alert day in effect for this afternoon, and that's going to go through tomorrow, Thursday morning. So I have an alert day for both today, Wednesday, and Thursday. That'll be for all 13 of our Crossroads counties, to which y'all could expect, like I said earlier, possibly some heavy flooding rainfall, 3 to 5 inches in some areas, and maybe even some severe weather, severe wind gusts, 60 miles an hour or greater. We're going to look at all the severe threats in greater detail later, I promise, because before any of that fun stuff gets here, look how warm it is this morning. We're nearly 80 degrees right now in Victoria, y'all, and the sun's not up. Low and mid 80s on the coast right now next to the warm Gulf water. And if you're wondering, Parker, where's the front? It's right here, and this is the first preliminary front that will be bringing us the storms later this afternoon. We'll look at all that later, I promise, because if you're sitting your kiddos at the door this morning, it's going to be sunny in the morning time, so grab those sunglasses, but grab the umbrella for showers in the afternoon. We'll look at those details next.
Nearly 2 years after her 16-year-old daughter was killed, an Edna mother is speaking out. Jacqueline Medina says she was stunned to learn about the plea deal being offered to the man accused of her daughter's murder, calling it far too lenient. Medina says she expected justice, not what she sees as a light sentence from the Jackson County District Attorney's Office.
In no way I'm okay or comfortable with this. There was a big mess on social media this morning, and there was comments made by the district attorney on a social page, which to me was unethical and surprising. And I will quote what he said. He said, "I work with the available resources to obtain what is the best outcome for the state. Would you agree to pay more taxes for capital defense and prosecution, or for go school or road improvements?" We are talking several millions of local dollars from arrest to grave. That quote itself, what is that telling you?
In a video posted by family members, they claim the plea was offered due to a lack of evidence for a capital murder conviction. We reached out to the prosecutor in the case to get more details on the plea that's expected Thursday and have not heard back. A community prayer gathering is planned ahead of Thursday's plea hearing. Anyone is invited to gather in support of Lisbeth's family at 7:30 Thursday morning on the lawn of the Jackson County Courthouse. A 12-year-old is accused of making a threat against a Victoria middle school. Victoria County authorities say a former Howell Middle School student now enrolled in a DAEP program made a claim Tuesday afternoon about bringing a weapon to school. Sheriff deputies say his threat was false. Officers located him off campus and conducted a thorough search and found no weapons. The boy was arrested for making a false report to induce an emergency response and taken to the juvenile detention center. Texas Rangers are helping investigate a stabbing death in Yorktown. DeWitt County Sheriff deputies say 37-year-old Aaron Lee Sellers was found with 2 stab wounds at a home on Krog Street just before 1 Monday morning. The house belongs to a third party. Investigators say Sellers and the suspect, 27-year-old Santana Cruz Uresti, knew each other. Uresti is now charged with murder. Officials say more arrests could be coming. Camp Mystic plans to reopen next summer near the site where 27 girls and counselors died in a flood earlier this year. Fast-rising floodwaters of the Guadalupe River inundated the girls' summer camp and swept campers and counselors to their deaths. In an email sent Monday to the families of the victims, the camp said its planning and procedures will follow the requirements of the camp safety legislation you bravely championed. The camp also announced it will build a memorial to the girls who died in the flooding. Jimmy Kimmel has his show back. He used his return last night to defend free speech. The episode marks the end of his suspension, but it might be the beginning of a larger clash between ABC and the Trump administration. Amy Kiley has more.
Anyway, as I was saying before I was interrupted,
Jimmy Kimmel Live is back after a nearly week-long suspension. Disney says it objected to the host's comments after Charlie Kirk's murder. Kimmel addresses that in his return monologue.
I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever.
Kimmel's also defending free speech with humor.
The guy in Germany offered me a job. Can you imagine? This country has become so authoritarian, the Germans are like, come here.
Some repeat audience members say this taping felt different.
There was a gravity, but also happiness of just being back.
Disney says it lifted the suspension after, quote, thoughtful conversations with Jimmy. Critics claim it originally caved to President Donald Trump. He says Kimmel's return on ABC, quote, puts the network in jeopardy. He adds, quote, we're going to test ABC out on this. Sinclair and Nexstar Media are continuing to preempt the show on their stations. The FCC chair applauds them for what he calls standing up to a national programmer. The preemptions are a financial hit for Disney. Some analysts say a boycott from Kimmel fans would have been worse.
Money was the impetus for the first decision and pulling Jimmy Kimmel off the air, and money is the impetus for returning him.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code on your screen to take part. We want to know, do you watch Jimmy Kimmel Live? Okay, let's take a look. 30% of you say yes and 70% of you say no. And we have 3 comments from y'all. David of Inez says it's a great show, better than watching that guy in the White House. And we have another comment. This is from Ginger. Ginger says he's so funny, yay for freedom of speech. And we have additional comment here from Eddie of Inez. Shouldn't we be able to watch anything we want? Thank you for taking part in our viewer poll. You can go to crossroadstoday.com/vote to keep taking part. The man accused of attempting to kill Donald Trump on his Florida golf course was found guilty on all 5 charges Tuesday. The panel found Ryan Ruth guilty of attempting to assassinate a major presidential candidate, assaulting the Secret Service agent who roasted him from his hiding place, and guilty of 3 federal gun charges. There was a dramatic moment in court after the verdict was read when Ruth apparently tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen. He now faces life in prison. Drivers know the frustration all too well. Potholes that jolt your car, drain your wallet, and slow your commute. We came across a trouble spot at Azalea and Anaqua Avenue. Let us know what cracks and craters you're dealing with on your drive. Share your photos by emailing staff@crossroadstoday.com. Remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:38 on our Wednesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. A simple act of kindness may have hidden consequences. What feeding a stray dog can lead to.
President Trump changing his stance on Ukraine. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with his speech to the United Nations and reaction this morning.
And also coming up next after the break in the short-term forecast, you heard me say we have some storm action coming our way later today. So coming up next, I'll tell you just when I think all that rain will be here. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Weather Wednesday. For your Wednesday, we still have a front in the forecast, and it'll be here tonight. And that's exactly what's going to spark up all the showers and thunderstorms that will come our way later this evening and also a bit tomorrow morning, which we'll look at the timing in just a second. Because looking at where the front is, because you were like, Parker, where is the front? It's still warm outside. Earlier, because we were talking about the temperatures. Well, if we look at the satellite, you could actually see right where it is. This is the front that's actually going to come our way overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. This is the one that's going to be bringing us our temperatures in the 80s tomorrow, Thursday. We'll also look at that later. But this front right here, this is kind of a stalled, kind of withered away preliminary cool front, which is kind of shunted out ahead of this front. This is the one that's going to surge south and bringing us the thunderstorms later this afternoon. And actually, right along that boundary, you're going to see pretty clear around the crossroads right now for our radar, but right along that boundary I was just talking about, look at all of the thunderstorms marching all the way eastward across central Texas right now, coming up into my stomping grounds, actually, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, real soon. But timing it out for the crossroads, it'll be here later today because you're going to see on the future tracker morning time pretty sunny. So grab your sunglasses, but also grab your umbrella because afternoon time we're going to start out with a 40% 40 rain chance in the afternoon from noon to 5 p.m. to see some scattered showers around the area before here comes that front right there draped across the screen. That'll be here somewhere between 5 to 7 p.m. I'm thinking actually 6 or 7 p.m. And that's exactly what will spark up a few more scattered thunderstorms around the area, some which could be strong or severe. We'll look at those risks here in a little bit because tomorrow morning, here's 5 in the morning, we're looking at possibly a final hurrah of rain that'll come through before the front clears us out. And we're looking at much nicer fall-like weather for the rest of this week. And we'll look at all that next.
Crossroads are only 2 days away here from another Friday night football action here for Week 5, where the Edna Cowboys are back after their bye week after they lost to Refugio 2 weeks ago, 48-21, and they lost their starting quarterback in that game, Trevor Floyd. But he is projected to be back here for their district opener versus on the road versus Orange Grove Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs' first 3 opponents, they got victories over Rockport Fulton 34-28, Beeville Jones 41-0, and then Val Furious 49-7. Now, this game, believe it or not, even though it's the first game for both teams playing in District Play, it could decide there the outcome of who wins the district there later on going in November. And again, the teams that were in this district last year that competed were Edna was number 1, you had Goli at number 2, London at number 3, and Orange Grove was at number 4. So we're going to see how this game kind of plays out here there Friday night. Again, it's going to start at 7 p.m. out there at Orange Grove High School. This is Max Williams, 25 News Now Sports.
Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. This morning, a major shift from President Trump on Ukraine. It comes as the president returns from New York, where he addressed world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with details.
This morning, President Trump making a dramatic shift on Ukraine.
Let them get their land back.
The president on the day of his UN address saying, quote, "I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form." That's a major turnaround from the president who previously suggested Ukraine give up territory in order to make peace. Just last month, Trump meeting with Vladimir Putin for a summit in Alaska. But now President Trump appears to be frustrated with the Russian president, who has rebuffed calls to meet with Zelensky and has instead ramped up attacks on Ukraine, while also sending Russian military aircrafts across NATO borders.
Do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do.
Zelensky hailed the president's remarks as a big shift, but it's unclear if Trump's words will be matched by a shift in U.S. policy, including new sanctions on Russia.
The president is a very patient man. He's very committed to peace, but his patience is not infinite. And as he has said repeatedly, he has before him the opportunity and the options of imposing additional economic costs on the Russian Federation.
Despite an optimistic message about Ukraine, President Trump's message to the United Nations General Assembly struck a very different tone.
Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. Your countries are going to hell.
The president appeared frustrated from the start when he said his teleprompter wasn't working, and also criticized the escalator in the building that abruptly stopped working when the president and first lady arrived.
These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is expected to meet with the Russian foreign minister later today as concerns grow about the conflict in Ukraine. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Feeding a stray dog in your neighborhood might feel like a simple act of kindness, but it could also leave you with more responsibility than you bargained for. Director of Victoria Animal Control Services, Mark Sloat, says if you let dogs roam your property, hang out under your house, or especially if you feed them, you may be taking on legal responsibility for that animal without even realizing it.
Once we allow that to continue to happen, we've taken ownership of those animals, protects this law, because you're now the keeper of those animals or the caretaker of them. You're the responsible party.
If you decide to keep one of these dogs, Animal Control can issue citations for roaming, aggressive behavior, or missing vaccinations. Sloat says a typical ticket starts around $280. If you spot a stray, don't approach. Just call Animal Control and let them handle it. The time is now 6:46 on our Wednesday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. The fruits and veggies on your plate might be hiding something unexpected. What you don't know could surprise you. All right, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Caden. Happy 11th birthday, son. We love you so much. Hope you have an amazing day. Love mom, dad, sisters, family, and friends.
Happy birthday, Caden. And also happy birthday to Ben. Happy birthday, Ben, from your family and your friends.
Happy birthday to Shannon. Happy birthday to our beautiful friend Shannon. Have a wonderful day. Love, Jessica and Mary.
Happy birthday, Shannon. And Ben Platt is celebrating a birthday today. The dear Evan Hansen and Pitch Perfect star is 32 today. Happy birthday, Ben.
And happy birthday to Becky. Wishing you a very happy birthday and enjoy your day from your friends and family.
Happy birthday, Becky. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, you can come to crossroadstoday.com. Just click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
Okay, the time is now 6:48 on our Wednesday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today.
That's right, happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw this, the future tracker just a few moments ago, and you saw just how much rain I was talking about coming our way over the next 24 hours. You can see this is the radar loop over the next, I'm really going to go all the way into tomorrow noontime. You can see, boom, right there. That's right when the front passes through overnight tonight, and that's going to bring us lots of rain for not just this evening, but boom, right there once again tomorrow morning, just like I was expecting and predicting yesterday on Tuesday. But I know you did see a lot of rain on the radar there, so here's how much rain we're expecting. You can see with today's first round of rain, maybe seeing up to 2 to 3 inches in some areas. Red would indicate 3 inches of rain. But as we go into tomorrow morning, like I said, we're possibly expecting a final hurrah of showers to form in the early morning hours. That'll probably bring us an additional 2 to maybe 3 inches of rainfall. So totaling all that up, we could see up to maybe 4, maybe even 6 inches of rainfall, half a foot. So y'all please stay safe and turn around and don't drown if you see a flooded roadway. And that heavy rain situation is exactly why we have a level 1 out of 4 marginal excessive rainfall outlook for today that encompasses all over the Crossroads counties. And the same thing with our severe weather risk, because you did see a little bit of pink on the radar. That means hail. Don't worry about hail. There might be some small pocket change size hail. What we're really more worried about in the severe weather department is some severe wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. So stay weather aware for that. Otherwise, also stay safe with the heat. We got to do that before any kind of fun rain gets here. We're looking for highs in the mid upper 90s. Heat in the seas, inland counties, just like yesterday, 105 to 110, 115 on the coast. And then the front gets here and we're back in the 80s and lows are in the 60s. And we'll look at all that and more later on Sunrise.
Produce could be exposing you to more potential toxins than you think. A new study found eating a lot of fruits or vegetables with higher levels of pesticides may raise the levels of pesticides in your urine. The study compared USDA produce and found the more high pesticide produce you eat, the more pesticides show up in your body. To limit exposure, the group says to buy organic, carefully clean your produce, and choose fruits and vegetables with lower pesticide levels. A new study suggests drinking any amount of alcohol may increase your risk of dementia. The study said those who reported consuming small amounts of alcohol had a lower risk of developing dementia compared to both heavy and, interestingly, non-drinkers. And higher alcohol consumption was associated with a higher risk of dementia with no safe small amount of alcohol. Researchers say 3 drinks a week was tied to a 15% higher risk of dementia. The researchers say the study does not prove drinking alcohol directly causes dementia. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. When a warning shakes trust, global officials weigh in what you need to know about a common medication. Health officials worldwide have dismissed President Trump's warning about pregnant women limiting Tylenol use due to unproven autism claims. Experts agree there's no conclusive evidence linking autism to acetaminophen, the drug's active ingredient, and no new data justifies changing existing guidance. Typhoon Ragaza, one of the strongest in years, is battering Hong Kong with waves taller than lampposts, bringing life on the southern Chinese coast to a standstill after causing devastation in Taiwan and the Philippines. Taiwan reports 14 deaths in a flooded township, while the Philippines counts 10 fatalities. China's weather agency warns the super typhoon is expected to make landfall today. When it comes to the IRS, the check will no longer be in the mail. The IRS has announced it is phasing out paper tax refund checks for individual taxpayers beginning on September 30th. The change is a result of an executive order which mandates all federal payments must transition to electronic methods. Officials say the change is designed to protect taxpayers as well as expediting the refund process. After the first interest rate cut by the Fed this year, Chairman Jerome Powell says the central bank is in a challenging situation. In remarks Tuesday, Powell pointed to the competing risk of rising inflation and a softer job market. The Fed next meets in just over a month. The FTC accusing Amazon of knowing it was duping people signing up for Prime subscriptions. That argument in an antitrust case where federal officials accuse Amazon of making it too hard to cancel a membership. Amazon says canceling is easy and Prime's terms are clearly laid out. 17 statewide propositions will appear on the November ballot. A majority of the proposed constitutional amendments address tax cuts for homeowners and businesses. You can read this story by the Texas Tribune on crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite y'all to experience our new digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a look at our sunrise with Parker. How's it looking?
Well, Carolina, we actually have a nice, beautiful sunrise this morning, all thanks to just a thin layer of low-level, low-lying cumulus clouds you can see draped right across the screen. But you can see the sun's coming up right behind that, and that's going to heat us up today before any kind of rain gets here. And you're probably saying, Parker, what are you talking about? It's already warm out there right now. Yes, it is. Don't believe me? Step outside for just a second. Why don't you? It's 78 right now. We're almost 80 degrees and the sun's not even up yet, y'all. And it feels like 81 right now thanks to the dew point 77. But no fog to worry about this morning thanks to mixing, and also no need to worry about rain, at least not yet. You can see radar's looking pretty clear. But here's what's coming our way later this afternoon and evening. Boom, right there. This is that first front that will be coming later tonight, with the second front coming in behind that. That'll be here tomorrow morning, bringing us our second round of rain. High of 95, I'm thinking Port Lavaca today. Y'all stay safe in the heat before the rain gets here. 40% chance of scattered showers in the afternoon, picking up to 70% for the evening time, 80%. High of 96 in Victoria, same timing for the rain, and the same for all that in Cuero. A bit warmer though, 97. So y'all stay safe in the heat. Like I said, heat intensities up to 110 and 115. Before the rain and the front gets here, and finally, we're looking like fall with highs in the 80s. Can you believe it?
I'm excited, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to thank you all for being with us this morning. Be sure to join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovio, and Max today for 25 News Now at 6 and 10. Make it a great Wednesday.